established council in partnership with Zimbabwe Fashion Week, and our goal is to try and find ways of allowing designers to access markets, something that was discussed in the previous session. Find ways of getting designers work out in the markets through sustainable distribution channels, logistics, etc., that was discussed before. And yeah, that's what we're here to talk about.
My name is Leno Wando. I'm a curator and musician. So I'm sitting here representing the Haus, which is an art and design platform that works within fashion, mainly on the streetwear and street art and alternative music. So
Can you guys hear the back? Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes.
Right, so I think we also just need to raise our voices. That's why you're at it.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Yolanda Nguenya, and I am the creative director and founder of a brand called Baka that is based in Bulawayo, Zimbabwe. I am also the youngest board member of the Fashion Council of Zimbabwe, and I am a coordinator for the Matolo Coast Fashion and Beyond project that is in partnership with the German Embassy and the National Art Gallery of Zimbabwe. So, yeah, be kind with your questions to us.
Thank you very much, panelists. So we're going to jump straight into it by just posing a question on what is the state of Zimbabwean fashion at the moment from your own point of view? Anyone can pick it up? Roby?
No more. Yes, I don't know what thing I did to you. You know what? I actually appreciate Danai and team for coming up with a very important topic for us to all engage in. Each one of us are designers or contributors to the fashion ecosystem, and therein is the issue. There is a disjointedness, I think. We lack some kind of collaboration, and it gives a bigger picture of being dismal right now. I think that's the best way to put it.
Yolanda, you're nodding. Would you agree with that?
I do agree. We are lacking. I was having this conversation with a few creatives. I think our mind is not where it's supposed to be currently, in that we are competing with each other instead of building each other. Because currently the industry as a whole, we have so many creatives, so many talented creatives from all over Zimbabwe, but the industry itself is not where it can be. Currently we can't compete with even South Africa or the Nigeria. We're not there yet for us to be competing with each other. So I think this is a time for us to be growing each other, collaborating with each other. What are you doing and how can I help you? And what I've learned from designers from outside is that no one designer is selfish with helping the next designer. So if somebody is good at beading, somebody is good at tailoring, instead of just making a full backup gown, if I know that Zabusha, they're amazing at beading, I can do my gown and say, please Ishmael, help me with the beading. He does the beading side. The next person does the tailoring or the finishing, and then Uleni does the curating of the fashion show. I think that's how we collaborate to be better in terms of collaboration. But also the state of fashion in Zim now, I am very much proud of it, because we are in this room as creatives. We are this platform through the creative DNA to be together, to meet each other. Some are meeting for the first time, and we are connecting. We're networking even with other African designers. Many great things can come from this. So, and I'm liking what is happening in the industry. We have so many. We have the Fabric Party. We have Kichani. We have the different awards. We have a lot of places where we can actually showcase and be seen. And I'm liking that there's so many different voices
thanks for that. You mentioned the Fabric Party, which is like one of the coolest platforms that we have in Zimbabwe, and it's run by the incredible Ule Noganto. My question to you, Lenny, is what's the mandate? Because I assume each platform that's being presented here is a mandate and of why you're operating. So what is your mandate, and do you care to share some of the things that you sort of like thrive for or that drive the initiative of the party?
So I will just share why we started the Fabric Party, and I think that will also highlight its mandate. So it's mainly, our main mandate was to what we started it and what we're still doing was to create a space where we allow the subcultures within the urban culture to have a space where they can be expressed or showcased and highlighted, which fashion was one of them. So our mandate is still to continue being a space that allows experimentation for emerging fashion designers, emerging artists within the different fields of art in the urban space. So regards to fashion, special fashion, our mandate is mainly to give a space for emerging designers to meet each other, collaborate, facilitate collaborations, curate their stuff, give them a space to experiment and trial and things. So we're still operating as a scouting ground for agencies, for fashion shows and all that. So our mandate is creating an incubation space for startups in the creative space.
Right, but mainly also working with a lot of fashion and street fashion, right?
Yeah, mainly with the street textile.
Right. Zimbabwe Fashion Council, it would be great to hear Ishmael on what are some of the objectives of the Zimbabwe Fashion Council and how far have you gone with that so far?
All right, thank you so much. So the Zimbabwe Fashion Council is aimed to promote. Okay. So the Zimbabwe Fashion Council is aimed to promote, to protect, and to help develop the fashion industry across the entire value chain, from cotton to clothing. That's the value chain that we're doing through creative excellence and initiative with programs like the Secretary Expo, Trade Expos, mentorship programs, and finding ways to collaborate with the government and NGOs to help promote and resuscitate the creative industry. Yes. So, looking at the current state of the Zimbabwean fashion industry, you would find that at some point, Zimbabwe creative industry, like the textile sector, contributed to like about 10% to GDP. But after the period of the 2008 economic meltdown, we saw a lot of manufacturing companies close down, and right now, at the moment, the sector is largely informal. Because most of the people who worked in the creative space, the fashion space, most of them were retrenched, but they are operating, but informally. So this causes the fact that there is not enough data that is captured or statistics whereby people can track down how the economy is actually contributing directly to GDP. So that's why the fashion councils, right, are all encouraging the creatives to formalize, to be compliant, to get their paperwork right, such that they will be able to have access to like funds, if there be funds available from the government or other institutions. So that is also our mandate as Zimbabwe Fashion Council, and also trying to find ways to better the economy through like employment creation, right, and also helping the young creatives in terms of like how to run their business, to create sustainable business models such that they can contribute significantly to GDP. And also in the event that maybe someone wants to import machinery, most of the people, they also don't know that the government also has policies in place to assist creatives. Be it maybe you want to import machinery, but through the right channels, you can import new technologies or new machinery duty-free. So, yes. So,
did you guys know that? Huh? It's new information. So it'll be great to have a conversation with Ishmael and to hear more about that.
Yes. So in collaboration with the government, it's also playing a supportive role in helping resuscitate the Zimbabwe fashion sector. Right, you can actually see the reopening of David Whitehead. So that means we are taking this creative industry to another level when we're looking at the cotton to clothing value chain. Yes, and also a few weeks back, the president himself visited Council in Bulawayo, the hub for manufacturing of clothes and all. So currently the government has its eyes on improving the sector. So it's very important for us as creatives to align ourselves with the policies there so that we can make maximum benefit from them. Yes.
So you're talking about policies. So the Z Fashion Council, does it also have this information that for everyone else to access that? Because I think half the time what kills us as creatives is we don't know what policies are there, how can we make use of those, how can we go around, and how can we benefit from it. So do you guys also facilitate for us to have access to that?
Yes, we do. Through our websites, we'll also be posting, as well as our newsletters that will be circulating. We also share those information in our groups. I'm sure the other councils also, they do the same. But it's just that most of the creatives, they don't have the knowledge, they are not aware of how they can be assisted to better their businesses and also contribute significantly to GDP.
Right.
And I think it's good that he mentions that about the Zimbabwe Fashion Council, because the previous session was talked about how AI and tech can help, magnify issues of concern, troubles, and how to troubleshoot, things that creatives are facing. So clearly there is a challenge in access to information. I think that's one area all councils here present, as well as platforms such as can try and really magnify how visible these opportunities are for creatives out there. That could definitely be a start.
Yeah, and I think I don't know if there's anyone from the National Arts Council. Yeah. So I'm going to put you on the spot, because we're talking about access to information, and the responsibility, obviously, of the National Arts Council is to share that information. Do we have any sort of activities or platforms or initiatives such as this that you guys are running to make sure that we have the information on the policies and how we can benefit and how we can bring machinery for free? And etc.
Yeah, we have a website. I think it's up now. nationalartscouncil.org. You can find information there. We are still adding more information, and that's also the reason why I'm here to then understand this fashion sector.
Yeah.
I'm sure some are aware that we are going to add fashion to the NAMA Awards also.
Yeah.
So we are.
That is the one I was going to choose to say. We're talking about policies and everything else, and the National Arts Council, which is a board that represents us, has shunned us as the fashion industry. So it's almost like we're in a house where the mother does not see you at all. So I think for me, the concerning part actually now is the National Arts Merit Awards. Everybody was amazingly dressed. I saw some using the Matoko fabrics that Yolanda and the German embassy were working on. They were dressed in that, and I said, but everyone is looking so nice. This is fashion.
Yeah.
The models that are giving the gong, they belong to the fashion industry.
Yeah.
But where is the category?
Yeah.
All these incredible designers that are in the room.
This year it's going to be added this year.
Okay.
We had a meeting last year
Yeah.
with some of the people, and so many people. So we are working on it.
So I've chewed my bone. Thank you very much. We mentioned GDP. Yolanda, I think it would be interesting to see, is there an opportunity for us, the fashion industry, to contribute, or already contributing to that in Zimbabwe?
In terms of contribution to the GDP, I would say the formalized companies, maybe like Edgar's and the big brands, from old school. Sure, they could be contributing to the GDP in their way, but as an industry, not so much, because a lot of our designers are not formally registered. But besides being formally
answer, Zombie. I like to pick on you, right? Love that.
It's good. There's no chance to think. As New Council, we are looking at helping creators and designers from a point of subjectivity. You know, I'm a designer. Obviously, have taken a break for a while, and some of the challenges I found 10 years ago were having a reliable curator have my product and be able to market it in such a way that would generate sales. Once sales were generated, the challenge then was to transport at a low cost or an affordable cost to the end user or the consumer who was based, you know, overseas or in a different region from ours. And so we are trying to create systems that work as one council for the designer from that perspective. Right now we have or are about to launch an e-commerce platform, a collective, which will be a collective of our emerging designers. Ishmael has been blessed enough to walk through Zimbabwe Fashion Week walls, and we're a subsidiary of that. And look at how amazing he's done. So the goal of the council is to allow emerging designers to walk through e-platforms and possibly brick and mortar facilities that may come up later, and then come out as emerged or established designers that can compete locally or regionally, as Yolanda alluded to, and be able to make money, income that far exceeds subsistence. So that's what we're currently working on. We have partnered up with DHL. The session before spoke on how we can collaborate with established logistic partners. DHL has come on board as a very important partner who is going to partner up with the collective in ensuring that we have deliveries locally at a fraction of the cost that an individual designer would have to bear, as well as international deliveries as well. So I think that's something that we are working on this year. We should be launching at the end of this month.
Yeah, I'm actually, if maybe you're not aware, I'm aware of DHL does offer some sort of like deal or business deal with you. There's a lady called Candy, she was here, I think on the launch, right? The other day. But DHL Zimbabwe is actually supporting a lot of exports and imports, so you might want to reach out to them. They've been helping visual artists, Moffat, Tadiwa, and then I think they're also looking forward to working with a lot of other people. I think there's something that you touched on. I mean, when you're talking about sustainability, I'm also thinking of just how can we also cross and tap into other industries in the arts. And I think I've seen a lot of people from the Fabric Party collaborating, because I think collaboration is very key, because it also helps to promote sustainability. So you find artists such as Nati or working with young designers like Showcase or stylists like Showcase at Fabric Party. Ule, it would be great for you to just maybe give us a few examples of how the Fabric Party has actually promoted sustainability and cross-pollination within the industry.
Yeah, so the Fabric Party has, it has done so much in that space, because the whole goal was making it how to make fashion relative or relative to the context that we have before looking into outside. Our main goal is to figure out basically how is it communicated locally to different users who are the majority. So through that, we've been pushing the people that we're working with, designers and those that we're working to do cross collaborations with people from different fields, whether it's fashions, schools in general, art and other fields of art that are within the space that we're from. Then to the sustainability side of things, we've been pushing more on the DIY culture and also on recycling of materials. That's one of the core things that we've been looking into in terms of who we get on the runways or who we get on the exhibition space in terms of so yeah, that's what we've been
Right.
looking into and prioritizing.
Right. Rumbi was mentioning that she's looking for curators. So Lenny next to you is a curator. So please hire him next time, Lenny, my cat. Thank you very much. Yolanda, you have been working with Matopo women through the Haus, guys. I think maybe it's time for a break or something. So what was that? Or maybe we can dance to that. Thank you very much. I was going to talk about the Matopo collection. I think that's such an interesting and incredible way of also bringing about the sustainability part of things. I think it would be great for Yolanda to just touch on that because, you know, there's the use of the raw materials, there's the use of natural dyes, there's the use of, you know, just tapping into the knowledge that our older generation has and translating that to fabrics and things like that. It would be great for you to just touch on that and just share with everyone who has no idea what I'm talking about.
Okay, so the Ndebele women in the Matopo region have been doing hand paintings for generations. So that this culture and this heritage, this very beautiful thing that they do does not die, the German embassy in partnership with the National Art Gallery, they came up with this project, Matopo Goes Fashion and Beyond. So what happens there is that we take the prints, we collaborate with these women, with these ladies. We take the prints that they make. Some of these ladies, they dream these prints. They inspire their creatives, amazing creatives. And all of the paintings are made from things you wouldn't imagine. The colors that come out of it, I myself did not know that cow dung and sand could make such, you know, bold colors, so beautiful. And every season is new prints because after the rain season, the paintings are washed away and they make new ones. I mean, like, it's amazing. Like, literally, you're constantly thinking of, you're dreaming your patterns, you're constantly, just like us, you know, whatever inspires your fashion, it inspires these women to keep creating this. So in order for that heritage to not die, we have partnered with them, with the Matopo Women's Association, to take some of these paintings from huts. First it was 2 pots, and these pots were sold everywhere, and some were taken to Germany as well, and then now it's to fashion. So taking those prints to textile printing on natural cottons, or natural fibers, sorry, like cotton, locally sourced, and making the patterns and then making not only fashion garments but wallpaper and furniture. So this project started last year, and in Harare we have 15 designers, some of them are in this room, and in Bulawayo we have 22 designers who have come on board and are making their different collections with these prints. It's such an amazing project, and we also have filmmakers, Charmaine, who was wearing, Charlene and her husband, who was wearing the Matopo prints. Is she here? And they're also making this film documentary about the fashion and the whole project. And this is a sustainable project. The next generation is going to watch this. The next generation, not only the region of Matopo, but now they also came to Lomoshaba to teach the women there how to do art paintings. So there's collaboration between the different tribes of Zimbabwe, and collaborating also with the different industries. So from them just being artisans to now collaborating with fashion designers, collaborating with wallpaper makers, with furniture makers as well, and with different women. It has been an amazing project, and I hope that you anticipate for our final show that is coming in April and May, both in Bulawayo and in Harare. And of course, we would like to thank the German Embassy for partnering and for funding this project, and also the Fashion Council of Zimbabwe for coordinating both in Bulawayo and in Harare. So that's what the project is about.
What an advertiser. So I'm thinking now we need to send an invoice to the German Embassy for an advertisement. But well done on that work, because I think one thing that we really need in the fashion space is, when we're talking about sustainability, it sounds so bizarre, but as Africans we've always been sustainable people. You find that growing up, I'm sure most of us are aware that whenever you buy a bottle of Coca-Cola and you finish your Coca-Cola, you keep it, and then the next day you use it to carry food drink to go to school. So you use that. When you buy your butter, margarine, when it's finished, you use it to start stocking things. You go into someone's house and there's a huge box of ice cream and you think there's ice cream in there. No, there's no ice cream. There's murico, there's meat, there's relishes in there. So we've always been sustainable people. So the thing is like, how do we consciously think about that as Africans, as Zimbabweans, to say how do we also tap back. I like the project to say we're tapping back to how our grandmothers do stuff, how our grandfathers do stuff. We're so shocked at the information that we can take from there. You find your Hope Masika just, looking into music, using the mbira, that's also some sustainable way of maintaining the music, because that culture is not dying. You're taking that, you're tapping into that knowledge. So that's also sustainable development in a way, because you're tapping into the knowledge, you're building the gap between the old and the young, and then you keep maintaining that. So exactly what you're talking about, you have the women using tree barks, tree roots, cow dung to dye clothing, and then you'll be shocked at the colors that are produced. But they've always done that. We have always done that. We're the creators of sustainability. So why are we not tapping into that and also sustain ourselves through financial and while we're exchanging these skills and knowledge? I'm sort of like interested in the collaboration because you touched on that. Is there room for the fashion councils to collaborate? Because I think we're Zimbabwe, my question is, that's an interesting one. I think it's a conversation that we all have behind closed doors, but now we're bringing it on the table to say we've got 3 fashion councils. So is there room for collaboration? Are we big? Is our household big enough to have 3 fathers? Because I know that the father, Tatis Tembo, where is the father and there's 3 wives. But here we've got 3 men in our household. Is there room for collaboration? So it's just putting on the spot. I will learn it very well and you can just watch it.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Yes, definitely there is collaboration with the fashion councils. I'll give an example, right? In South Africa, there are many fashion councils. It doesn't necessarily mean that there should be maybe one fashion council, because each and every fashion council, maybe they have their specific objectives, but there are projects that we collaborate on. I'll give an example. Last year, when we were working with the World Fashion Exhibition, councils, they had to bring in their designers that will be working on the projects so that we can do like an exhibition in China. Evo Tribe went there last year. So it's not like this council does that, so no, there is collaboration, because you see the fashion state of Zimbabwe, it needs resuscitation. So not only one person will be able to do that. So different councils, they are doing their work and they are making strides, and the government recognizes them. National Arts Council also knows that there is Zimbabwe Fashion Council, there's Fashion Council Zimbabwe, there is Bunu Fashion Council. So yes, we do collaborate on many projects, even the First Lady, when she also has other projects that have to do with the national fabric. All councils, we are there, we are present in every program and projects that will be done. Yes. So you're speaking on behalf of everyone?
Yeah, I think so.
I think he is. He is. I think he is. It's like he said, the state, it's good you started this discussion by announcing the current state of Zimbabwean fashion. And Ishmael correctly said that it'll take more than just one group of people.
Today technology is messing us up. Yolanda?
Yes, there is collaboration within the councils. I know the Fashion Council of Zim and Fashion Council of Zimbabwe Fashion Council, we have collaborated before, especially Ishmael. Okay. So last year, the Fashion Council of Zimbabwe partnered with the SADC Industrialization Week, and we brought in designers in the Fashion Council of Zimbabwe, and also Ishmael, who's in his own council. So there is collaboration. I would say, though, it would be great if for something like Zimbabwe Fashion Week, all councils were called in to what's it called? Not giving input, but to contribute. Yeah, to contribute to that, because then if it's something that's called Zimbabwean Fashion Week, when it goes out there, it's Zimbabweans. It's not said Hunu Fashion Council or Fashion Council of Zimbabwe or Zimbabwe Fashion Council. It says Zimbabwean designers. So I would love in the future to at least maybe consider then bringing in other players or other councils to collaborate and contribute to that, to the production of something like that.
So there's already a question. I'll come to Lenny.
In terms of, because Public Party is a platform on its own, that's not a council. What's your take on what they're saying about the councils?
No, like as somebody also be within the fashion space is like they just simplify it that they have different mandates, but as somebody who's not in that space, it's also confusing, and I'm sure it goes to everybody who be seeing from the side is kind of confusing, and it doesn't really. And like for instance, with the cases that are happening, where you find that there is Fashion Council of Zimbabwe, own Fashion Council, then Zimbabwe Fashion Council. So it's a bit confusing. So I think it just needs to have that constantly communication of, even from each and every platform, each and every council should openly communicate with people in terms of their mandates and what they're doing and all that, so that whoever is on the other side can really understand in terms of what's going on and how they are all contributing towards one goal. Because from a distance, it looks like there's just a whole lot of things that are going on, and it's confusing even for us as a platform. We don't even
We have to use our natural voices. Sorry about that. We keep. There's a question here. I think we just want to jump into questions. I'll also come here. We're not trying to blast you, but I think when you're in a board that represents people, it's your responsibility for fashion designers and fashion people, because you don't acknowledge us. So it's our responsibility to ask. Accountability is important. We need to ask questions. What is fashion doing for us? What are you doing for the industry? So we're not blasting everyone because we're all friends here. Please don't name and mix us after this. But we're just, it's to get clarity, to see where we are at as a fashion industry. There was a question over there.
Oh yeah, I have two questions actually. The first one is, in your experience, do you think the market for Zimbabwean art, for Zimbabwean fashion, is outside Zimbabwe, and that's why we struggle? As in, the nation is not a place where you can appreciate art because of everything else that's going on. And then my follow-up then becomes, why is it difficult for Zimbabwean fashion to make it to the world in the same way Nigerian fashion or Kenyan fashion can make it? What are we doing differently?
You didn't want to use the microphone because you're allowed.
It's not working.
I think it would be great to hear from Ishmael because he's a designer also who's been doing so well. So it would be great to just hear, but also Rumbi, you can just jump in there to that question.
All right. So the market for Zimbabwean fashion is not necessarily outside of Zimbabwe. It's just that of late there's been an increase in demand for African products globally. So that's why it then seems as if like the market is outside more than here. It's just that maybe here locally people are just used to what they are wearing every day, and also looking at how many people are no longer able to afford locally made products. Why? Because of the high cost of production, the loss of disposable income. You know, some people have been retrained, some are not working, so they no longer have disposable income to actually buy clothes that are locally made. And 3 as well, the high unemployment rates. You know, youths are a major contributor to consuming fashion. So because also of the competition with cheap imports and second-hand clothes, it now seems as if like local products are not really the go-to thing. Yet outside, people who actually appreciate art, appreciate African creativity, people who appreciate African products, there's a high demand for that. So then it then seems as if like the market is outside. And if it is outside, then go for it. But knowing that at the moment, the reason why there isn't much uptake of locally made products is because of like they will be pretty pricey than maybe the cheap imports from China. I can give you an example. For me, maybe to make a t-shirt, you want a red t-shirt with print on it. For me to buy the fabric, maybe the fabric costs $5, the print costs maybe $13, already I'm at $18, right? But when you go into these boutiques, you can get a nice t-shirt for $5. So then people then tend to opt for the cheaper option. So that's why you see people, they don't really maybe taking up local fashion, not because they don't want to, but some is because they cannot afford. So then that's the reason why most of these like designers are now focusing on exporting their products, because that's where the demand is. Yes.
Interesting. I will come back to you. It would be nice to hear from an incredible designer who's sitting there. You had your hand up. But I think it would be nice to just feedback on that and then say what you wanted to say.
Okay. Can I start with a question?
Yes.
Maybe a comment as well. I sat on all three boards, all three councils. I sat on the boards of all three. I was a co-founder of 2 of them. And I think we have to address the elephant in the room, which is why are we operating in silos? We need to really ask ourselves, like, as Zimbabwean designers, why are we operating in silos? Why are we operating in bubbles? We are not coming together as a fashion collective to ensure that Zimbabweans can really be put on the right platform.
You know, where we can, that's better. Okay, my question is, organically, genuine question to everyone in this room. Why are the 3 councils, there's probably more, why are we operating in silos? Because I found that in the last 10 years in the industry, we don't sit down and have round tables. We don't sit down and ask questions about what the designers really need together. You know, we find that, okay, here's a new council, there's a new council, there's another council, and it's a real problem that we're not addressing. So right now we're being a little bit fluffy and pink about the issues, you know, but can we address that realistically and holistically? Well, Lenny said, I'm not a part of this, but I'm confused. And yet he's a leader in the industry as well, do you understand? Can we ask, that's my first question.
Anyone wants to take it? Yolanda, from the Fashion Council of Zimbabwe.
Okay, I wanted to answer that question. So can I just go back and then I'll answer this question as well? To add on what Ishmael was saying, I think also what is lacking in our industry or in the country is there's not enough consumer education. Because people are buying cheap, but then they will buy a Louis V, so it's not necessarily that they don't have the money, because there's a lot of nice cars in Zim, right? It's educating them then about the importance of locally produced clothing. It's educating them about, about their own culture, so that they fall in love with themselves and not look to a Chanel or an LV? Like, why can't a Zagusha, a Bakari, an SFL Apparel be on the same level as Chanel? Sometimes it's because we're not getting the support from the people, because the people don't have enough knowledge of what we do and of their own traditions or cultures and of themselves. To address on that one, that's a good question because it goes back to what Uleni was saying in terms of confusion. Okay, honestly, I'll speak as for the Fashion Council of Zim because that's what I'm here for. We have done a lot of work. We have done a lot of work. I can list some, but what we have done, I think, contributes to the industry in a great way. There are some designers we have trained. We have facilitated partnerships with places that we think are important, you know, like Edgar's, where designers can get their clothing in there because we don't have a large retail system in Zim. So on our part, I think we have done what we're supposed to do with what we're given to do, because also it's not funded. We have not received any grants for it. We've done it from our own pockets. In terms of the confusion with the councils, we have a very large database of designers under the Fashion Council. I think we always update the designers that are in the Fashion Council with everything that is going on. We open up all of whatever news that we get, we always update our designers. I think some of you, most of you are in that database or in that group as well. I cannot speak for other councils. I'll speak for ourselves. And like I said, we have partnered, we worked with these guys before. We worked with Oleni, Marcus's, Zagusha's. We have done that before. From what we have done. In terms of partnerships, like I have already said, it would be great if we came together and did Zimbabwe Fashion Week together, not individually. That makes sense to me.
Can I go back to the question, right? She asked, why are we operating silos? So I believe that the formation of every council had their objectives and all, right? So I might not be aware of like the origins of like why this council started and why Zimbabwe Fashion Council started. But what has been happening behind the scenes is that there's been a lot of advocacy to lobby in the government to support and actually recognize the sector. So that's why it then would seem as if like the councils are not doing anything, there's confusion and all those other stuff, because at the moment the current state of the fashion industry is that it's fragmented. And so for the government to actually recognize us, we actually have to organize ourselves, right? Yes, so that's why the councils are there, right? It's not really an issue whether the councils are 3 or 4 or 5, that doesn't matter, but it's all about the shared goals in resuscitating the industry and making sure that we actually get the recognition that we need for the government support. Because when we go to the ministry's office and all, they are fine. Even Fashion Council goals, Zimbabwe Fashion goals or Fashion goals, but it's all about that common shared goals of resuscitating and developing the industry. Yes. So we are operating in silo, but at the end of the day, what we want are results.
Right.
Yes.
Can I feed into that? Because I think also this is why we're actually here, the state of Zimbabwean fashion, because the silos is a confusing part to a lot of people. I'm glad we've got government representation with the National Arts Council. Maybe why we actually don't have a category at the NAMAS is because we are also representing confusion, right? So possibly there's need for us to have a uniform, sort of like Mondays, because you have Mondays individually. But how about we come up with some sort of like a document that at least has some shared mandates. We take that paper, we present it to the National Arts Council. We need your support in this way, and then the National Arts Council can take it forward because it's a combined, collaborated. So I think the silo thing is a good one that you brought that up, but maybe that category. is because of what we're talking about here. So it's an opportunity for us to think about that. Charmaine?
I just want to come from the perspective of the fashion designer in the country and what I have experienced. You go to these councils, but you guys are also not organized. We don't know what to expect, what we need to do in order to be in these spaces. Or if we are in these spaces, I don't tend to pull out the company, but for example, you go with your product, but your product, you are using a different material. You go in there with your product, they look at it. Sometimes you're so discouraged from the first part, they tell you, but you come to these spaces and they really appreciate what you do. When it comes to you're pushing out your product, but it says it's sustainable. Your mission is it's sustainability. You come here, you are appreciated. So what do we do as designers? Because sometimes it's causing frustration and confusion. What should I do in order to enhance my product, in order to also be accepted for who I am and the story that I'm telling that is authentic to me and going to be authentic to my audience? Another frustrating point is
So my bosses are telling me it's time up. So can you say that in 10 seconds? I just want to do 10 seconds each because there's been hands around.
I think that's the question.
That's the question. We're going to do some networking. You had something to say? 2 seconds?
Also just want to, I think a lot of us share the same sentiments, but I also want to know which council do I associate with, because we pick one, and if I pick one, I'm not allowed to associate with another. I'm actually inside what is it?
Okay. My contribution to this is I went to one council where Joyce Chimanye is, and I say this to them. I think on the council side, there's also a problem of funding. So I think if you guys could collaborate and then maybe guys need to have monthly or whatever subscriptions that go into them, then pushing our mandates, I think that would help. We can't really expect the car to move without petrol. We need to pour in the petrol. So in as much as the council have your issues, you guys need to come up with one. Then we then pour into, invest into that one that then pushes our narrative forward.
We're trying to get some people on the power.
So power play.
My name is Marcus. I just wanted to share something. I think let's leverage social media, right, from the council, right? I think if you put a bigger goal mandate, and I heard the majority say, let's go to the website, right? Facebook is there, Instagram is there, TikTok is there, different social media platforms. If you could just give us the bigger picture, right? Things that are very digestible, because so many more times, like the attention span is literally these days a little bit shorter. But if you're still able then to capture us with what the different mandates are, what we're supposed to do and how we're supposed to engage with you, I think that's also a means of opportunity. And I will hope we can actually work on that.
Thanks, Marcus. Here. You're not going to preach, right?
I think as council as well, it's something that was briefly mentioned on cheap imports that can trump people's desire to purchase locally produced fashion, right? I think as the council, because you are the representatives of the fashion industry and the people within it, you need to then make it your mandate to aggressively put it out there to policymakers that this is something that we should really, really look into. Because you'll walk, even beyond just designers, you walk into clothing retail stores that are paying tax, that are paying all of these things, and then have to chase away vendors that are selling the exact same product right outside your doors. So that's something we should also look into. Really make it a strong, aggressive mandate to make policy for it.
Thank you.
I I don't know if it's a question or more of observation. Sorry, my name is Yemi. As Zimbabweans, I think our biggest problem is that we are trend followers, not setters. So when it gets recognized out there, then we're very patriotic. But then on the ground, we are very, pardon my English, cliquey. We gatekeep a lot. We scared to get together and say, let's do this. Our collaboration reaches as far as our comfort zone. And it's not only fashion, it's the whole creative industry. And not only even the business industry. We are very gatekeeper. And of course that goes a lot to what you mentioned about money, and we're one of the few countries in the world that doesn't have a credit system. We don't have credit cards. I can't go swipe at Edgar's and pay $3 a month for my top. I really have to make an effort to support local. But how do we solve that from within before we did?
Right. We're thinking about that, right? Sir, there's also my uncle at the back there.
I think for me the contribution is one, as much as you're thinking about your three fashion council to come to one, it's very encouraging that you have active fashion councils. I can tell you in Kenya, we've tried one, doesn't work, we've tried another one, but somehow integration doesn't exist. The only thing that keeps us going is we have a very robust kind of middle class that's buying into fashion, so the industry is just growing. And the second thing is, that's a very good question about whether the fashion is for outside. Kenyans ask themselves the same question. I can guarantee you the market sits locally before it sits outside. And the only reason we have like a very, you say Nigerian fashion is not there, is because of things like music. Music moves faster than fashion. So because the music is out there, whether it's Nigerian music, Kenyan music, and those artists are out there, you kind of start looking at those back. So also collaborating with now musicians and other guys will also kind of push that on.
Collaboration. I think one more, there's a gentleman at the back, his hand has been up. Yes, sir.
Yeah, I'm Mike. My interest in today's session was how, as businesses, we can participate in this fashion, future fashion. We have conversations a lot around how, as corporates, we can leverage the artistry that we have, the talent that we have in Zimbabwe. So I'm here today to just try and network, but I haven't really seen any demonstration of value. That's been the the contributions today. What can we get back as business if we invest in fashion? That's what I felt was like.
Yeah, so I think it speaks to your business model, because I think it's a conversation that we had in the previous session to say the creative industry, we actually need to think the 5 Ps. What's the brand story? What's the personality? What is the unique selling point? etc. Because if we don't have that, then also it's hard to find collaborations with businesses because we're operating just like, it's vibes. We would say that the 2000s, we say it's vibes, but we need to actually start thinking about the business to say what's the unique selling point. The unique selling point goes into the branding part of things to say what story am I telling? What is it that people are buying from me that they cannot buy from someone else? I love the collaboration to say there's music, there's film, there's also ways to push our fashion there. There's also opportunity for collaboration. There's already collaboration that has happened in the councils, so that's incredible. One more point say before I just shut it down because my boss is not going to pay me if I keep talking. Yes, sir.
My point, I think I will try to make a point which my brother just said. The problem in the fashion industry, look at our main way. This is how the majority of our Zimbabweans win. This is where the money is. So the problem with Zimbabwean artists is they try to be too much creative to the extent that the business people they end up going as far as tech to buy things. Then, because right now the problem here right now, we have our own market, 18 million Zimbabweans. What are the Zimbabweans way like? What are the children in Zimbabwe way like? We are talking about business here. But then the moment we find ourselves trying to become too creative, we are losing a lot of money to foreigners. The Chinese are coming at our own funerals. they see where we are. They use the Zambia. They go to China, they manufacture the Zambia for us. So we are too creative. We are not looking at our own problems. We are solving other people's problems or imagination problems. That's the problem.
All right. So, thank you very much. Right. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I think I need a whole session with you because I also have an insight on that. But we need to close. So it was not about attacking anyone, it was about just us understanding where we're at and how do we find the way forward and make this fashion industry incredible, because it's already incredible. It's just that we need a few things, we need to fix a few things. So please give a round of applause for Yolanda, Ishmael, for making time to be here. Please give a round of applause for myself, your team. Give a round of applause for the Creative DNA for doing this. The British Council. Most importantly, give yourselves a round of applause. I'm going to hand over to Danai. She has a few things that she wants to say because we went over time, but this was incredible. Thank you so much, guys.
I actually have absolutely nothing to say. But I hope that was a great and insightful session. We look forward to all the collaborations that you guys are going to be coming up with. And we're ready to plug in. You see, your designers are here. They're ready. You know, we're ready to build this Zimbabwe together. And I know we can definitely do it. So guys, thank you for attending. I just wanted to know that we're going to have a symbol story session. We have 2 more seats available in that one. So first come, first serve. However, you can observe. You can observe the session if you haven't registered. So thank you so much. Have a great day. And I might see some of you in the next session. Bye.
What about the evaluations?
Please hand them over to Tinashe on your way out.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.